Hello gainers, Ralphie here on location with some fitter philosophy, sharing the philosophy to help with the fitness, to help with the gains, and it's not just about physical fitness and physical gains, it's about psychological and mind intelligence, holistic intelligence, not just the IQ intelligence, but looking after our physical health in the body, in the mind, keeping the two together and keeping it practical and making the most of the opportunities we have. Now, in my previous recent walk-in talks, and this is another one, and it's really a concluding one on the subject that I've been discussing over my last few videos, that we live in societies, all of us, where we're subject to peer group pressure. We're subject to the pressure of our parents when we're children, to have certain expectations, certain ambitions, and certain attitudes as well, which are the norm of the age. And that's fair enough if it is conducive to well-being and good health. But often, particularly in the age of the internet, we can see that they were subject to negativity, prejudices, dogma, intolerances, and often attitudes that we hold which are not good for our health. Interestingly, by the way, just pointing this out, see that there? Those are the steps to the witch's house. In there's an old house. There's a woman who lived by the river. She lived by the river because she washed people's clothes, and she was a white witch. And what she did was she used to sew, unbeknown to them, in this exactly the same colour of thread that was in the sheets and the dresses and the trousers and the socks and the shirts and all the things that people gave her to wash. She sewed charms, fairy charms. And what she would do, she would know immediately from the clothes as soon as she touched them, whether the person had been cursed by a black witch, and then she would sew in the blessings and it would undo the curses, so that the local community enjoyed a lot of prosperity while she was around. And that was the way she did it. Isn't that amazing? These old folklore stories which still, they still exist. And here we are by the river. Now you have to excuse me, it's a little bit muddy at the moment, so I've got to watch where I'm putting my feet. Fantastic, and here comes a doggy. Anyway, I shall continue my conversation. We are subject to, for example, white noise, which is something that I've been discussing. And another thing that we're subject to is the challenges of actually living lives on our own terms, albeit they should be positive ones. But there's something that we can do which will significantly help in centering ourselves, in being true to ourselves, in being honest with ourselves, and avoiding the white noise, avoiding the dogmas of social attitudes. Here we go. Hey, we've got a border collie. Very intelligent dogs. I'm going to get off the path a wee bit and let the dog walkers past. They'll probably want me to throw their ball for them. You know what dogs are like. Anyway, I'll stop for a minute. And it's simplicity. This is what I'm really getting to, is the hub of this video. The more we can introduce and develop simplicity in our lives over time, which is enriched by the experience of the lives, the singular and personal lives we lead. See, look, he wants me to throw his ball for him. Can I throw his ball for him? There we go. Hiya, fella. Hiya. I'm going to throw his ball for him. There we go. Oh. Being a smart dog, of course, he won't bring it back. Not to me. He is a smart dog. Simplicity isn't as simple as it sounds. We are subject to social pressures. It's not just the attitudes of our parents and those who bring us up, trying to be ambitious for us and steer us in certain directions, imposing their own expectations upon us, which can be convoluted, which can be very distracting from our own personal quality of life. But as we get older, as we get on with the experience of life, we learn from it. We're constantly recalibrating and rejudging our opinions and the measuring tape of our own expectations to develop ourselves and to have what is essentially successful, productive lives. Only we truly know what our own skills are, and only we truly know what our own weaknesses are. And therefore we've got to take most of that personal knowledge and take the opportunity to spring clean ourselves. So, every year it's the tradition that people will spring clean the house. They'll chuck out the old stuff, something they'll give away, something they'll burn, something that they'll, even bury in the ground, stuff they'll maybe sell. And we should be doing that not just to the house, but with ourselves. And the more we can simplify our lives, the more inevitably that we streamline it too. And when we streamline, we discover that we've got more space in which to maneuver, to adjust, to be productive, to do what we want to do, and actually learn more about ourselves. So there's nothing simple about simplifying our lives. We've got to discover what little individual techniques work for us, focus on them, develop them, and literally get yourself a pencil and paper, write it down, make a list. That is a great way of starting to simplify your life. It certainly works for me. I keep my life simple. I have my main hobbies of whiskey and motorbikes and writing books and such. I never used to write books, but the time now is right for me to do so. And therefore, in order to have a space to do that, I've been clearing out all sorts of, I wouldn't say old friendships, but it includes people that I've used to know that I'm no longer really in touch with now, and it's perfectly acceptable, perfectly natural. I'm not spending so much time working to make money to live because I'm buying less, I need less. As time goes on, particularly once you've cleared your debts, things get an awful lot simpler. It really does. The more we can make time for our own enrichment and personal development, the better, because inevitably we're going to be more positive of people, and that positivity is going to brush off on those around us, and we're more positive to other people around us. So there you have it. Keep it simple, gainers, because in simplicity there is an awful lot of wealth to be created. Personal wealth, holistic wealth. I'm Ralphie. I hope you've enjoyed this little walk-in talk. I shall be back again, by which time I'll be changing the subject slightly and discussing some other matters. But before I go, I will leave you with a lovely view on this sunny day here by the river.